Hey guys, welcome to Medifaction. Today, let's learn about some important water-soluble vitamins, along with their recommended daily allowance, best sources for these vitamins, their functions, and some important deficiency manifestations as well. Let's begin. Vitamin B1. It is also known as thiamine. The recommended daily allowance for thiamine is dependent on the calorie intake. The requirement is 1 to 1.5 mg per day. Thiamine is useful in the treatment of beriberi, alcoholic polyneuritis, neuritis of pregnancy, and neuritis of old age. Sources of vitamin B1. The aleurone layer of cereals is a rich source of thiamine. Therefore, whole wheat flour and unpolished hand-pound rice have better nutritive value than completely polished refined foods. When the grains are polished, the aleurone layer is usually removed. Yeast is also a very good source. Thiamine is partially destroyed by heat. Functions of vitamin B1. Number 1. Pyruvate dehydrogenase. The coenzyme form is thiamine pyrophosphate. It is used in oxidative decarboxylation of alpha keto acids. Example, pyruvate dehydrogenase enzyme catalyzes the breakdown of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA and carbon dioxide. Second function, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. An analogous biochemical reaction that requires thiamine pyrophosphate is the oxidative decarboxylation of alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl-CoA and carbon dioxide. Third function, transketolase. The second group of enzymes that use thiamine pyrophosphate as coenzyme are the transketolases in the hexose monophosphate shunt pathway of glucose. Number 4. The main role of thiamine is the carbohydrate metabolism. So, the requirement of thiamine is increased along with higher intake of carbohydrates. Deficiency manifestations of thiamine. Beriberi. Deficiency of thiamine leads to beriberi. It is a singleist word meaning weakness. The early symptoms are anorexia, dyspepsia, heaviness, and weakness. Subjects feel weak and get easily exhausted. Wet beriberi. Here, cardiovascular manifestations are prominent. Edema of legs, face, trunk, and serous cavities are the main features. Palpitation, breathlessness, and distended neck veins are also observed. Death may occur due to heart failure. Dry beriberi. In this condition, CNS manifestations are the major features. Walking becomes difficult. Peripheral neuritis with sensory disturbance leads to complete paralysis. Infantile beriberi. It occurs in infants born to mothers suffering from thiamine deficiency. Restlessness and sleeplessness are also observed. Wernicke-korsakoff syndrome. It is also called as cerebral beriberi. Clinical features are those of encephalopathy, that is, ophthalmoplegia, nystagmus, cerebellar ataxia plus psychosis. It is seen only when the nutritional status is severely affected. Polyneuritis. It is common in chronic alcoholics. Alcohol utilization need large doses of thiamine. Alcohol inhibits intestinal absorption of thiamine, leading to thiamine deficiency. Polyneuritis may also be associated with pregnancy and old age. Thiamine deficiency in alcoholism may cause impairment of conversion of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. The result is increased plasma concentration of pyruvate and lactate, leading to lactic acidosis. Next vitamin is vitamin B2, also known as riboflavin. Daily requirement. Riboflavin is concerned mainly with the metabolism of carbohydrates and requirement is related to calorie intake. Adults on sedentary work requires about 1.5 mg per day. During pregnancy, lactation and old age, additional 0.2 to 0.4 mg per day are required. Dietary sources of riboflavin. Rich sources are liver, dried yeast, egg, and whole milk. Good sources are fish, whole cereals, legumes, and green leafy vegetables. Functions of riboflavin. Riboflavin exists in tissues tightly bound with enzymes. Enzymes containing riboflavin are called flavoproteins. The two coenzymes are FMN, also known as flavin mononucleotide, and FAD, which is flavin adenine dinucleotide. Deficiency. Riboflavin deficiency usually accompanies other deficiency diseases such as beriberi, pellagra, and kwashiorkor. Manifestations. Symptoms are confined to skin and mucous membrane. Glossitis, magenta-colored tongue, cheilosis, angular stomatitis, circumcorneal vascularization, proliferation of bulbar conjunctival capillaries is the earliest sign of riboflavin deficiency. Next vitamin is vitamin B3, also known as niacin. Recommended daily allowance. The normal requirement is 20 mg per day. During lactation, additional 5 mg is required. Sources. The richest natural sources of niacin are dried yeast, rice polishing, liver, peanut, whole cereals, legumes, meat, and fish. About half of the requirement is met by the conversion of tryptophan to niacin. About 60 mg of tryptophan will yield 1 mg of niacin. Coenzyme forms of niacin. Niacin is converted to its coenzyme forms, which is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, also known as NAD+, and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, also known as NADP+. The niacin is attached to a ribose phosphate to form a mononucleotide. It is then attached to AMP, that is adenine monophosphate, to form the dinucleotide. The nitrogen atom of niacinamide contains one positive charge. Therapeutic use of niacin. Nicotinic acid inhibits the flux of free fatty acids from adipose tissue, so acetyl-CoA pool is reduced and hence serum cholesterol is lowered. In high doses, niacin is useful to reduce lipoprotein A levels. Niacin deficiency. Pellagra. Deficiency of niacin leads to the clinical condition called pellagra. Pellagra is caused by the deficiency of tryptophan as well as niacin. Pellagra is seen more in women. This may be because tryptophan metabolism is inhibited by estrogen metabolites. The symptoms of pellagra are dermatitis. In early stages, bright red erythema occurs, especially in the feet, ankles, and face. Increased pigmentation around the neck is known as Cassell's necklace. The dermatitis is precipitated by exposure to sunlight. Diarrhea. The diarrhea may be mild or severe with blood and mucus. This may lead to weight loss. Nausea and vomiting may also be present. Dementia. It is frequently seen in chronic cases. Delirium is common in acute pellagra. Irritability, inability to concentrate, and poor memory are more common in mild cases. Ataxia and spasticity are also seen. Vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is also known as pyridoxal phosphate. Daily requirement. Vitamin B6 requirements are related to protein intake and not to calorie intake. It is recommended that adults need 1 to 2 milligrams per day. During pregnancy and lactation, the requirement is increased to 2.5 milligrams per day. Dietary sources of vitamin B6. Richest sources are yeast, rice polishing, wheat germs, cereals, legumes, oil seeds, egg, milk, meat, fishes, and green leafy vegetables. Coenzyme form. Active form of pyridoxine is pyridoxal phosphate. It is synthesized by pyridoxal kinase utilizing ATP. Functions of pyridoxal phosphate. The pyridoxal phosphate acts as coenzyme for many reactions in amino acid metabolism. Number 1. Transamination. These reactions are catalyzed by aminotransferases which employ pyridoxal phosphate as the coenzyme. For example, alanine when combined with alpha-ketoglutarate gives pyruvate and glutamic acid. The enzyme is alanine transaminase. Decarboxylation. For decarboxylation, glutamate becomes GABA, that is gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter and hence in B6 deficiency, especially in children, convulsions may occur. Histidine becomes histamine, which is the mediator of allergy and anaphylaxis. 5-hydroxytryptophan becomes serotonin, cysteine becomes taurine, serine becomes ethanolamine. Sulfur-containing amino acids. The pyridoxal phosphate plays an important role in methionine and cysteine metabolism. Heme synthesis. The ALA synthase is a pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzyme. This is the rate-limiting step in heme biosynthesis. So in B6 deficiency, anemia may be seen. Production of niacin. Thus, pyridoxal phosphate is required for the synthesis of niacin from tryptophan. One vitamin is necessary for synthesis of another vitamin. Glycogenolysis. Phosphorylase enzyme, that is glycogen to glucose 1-phosphate, requires pyridoxal phosphate. In fact, more than 70% of total PLP content of the body is in muscles, where it is a part of the phosphorylase enzyme. Deficiency manifestations of pyridoxine. Number 1. Neurological manifestations. In vitamin B6 deficiency, pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzymes function poorly. So, serotonin, epinephrine, noradrenaline, and gamma aminobutyric acid are not produced properly. Neurological symptoms are therefore quite common in B6 deficiency. In children, B6 deficiency leads to convulsions due to decreased formation of gamma aminobutyric acid. Number 2. Dermatological manifestations. Deficiency of B6 will also affect tryptophan metabolism. Since niacin is produced from tryptophan, B6 deficiency in turn leads to niacin deficiency, which is manifested as pellagra. Hematological manifestations. In adults, hypochromic microcytic anemia may occur due to the inhibition of heme biosynthesis. Impaired antibody formation is also reported. Next is vitamin B12. Requirement of vitamin B12. Normal daily requirement is 1 to 2 mg per day. During pregnancy and lactation, this is increased to 2 mg per day. Those who take folic acid should also take vitamin B12. Elderly people are advised to take B12 supplementation. Dietary source. Vitamin B12 is not present in vegetables. Liver is the richest source. Curd is a good source because lactobacillus can synthesize vitamin B12. Functions of vitamin B12. Number 1. Methylmalonyl-CoA isomerase. D-methylmalonyl-CoA is formed in the body from propionyl-CoA. It is then converted to L form by a racemase and then isomerized by methylmalonyl-CoA mutase to succinyl-CoA, which enters into citric acid cycle. In B12 deficiency, methylmalonyl-CoA accumulates and methylmalonic aciduria occurs. Number 2. Methyl-folate trap and folate deficiency. The production of methyl THFA, that is tetrahydrofolic acid, is an irreversible step. Vitamin B12 is deficient. This reaction cannot take place. This is called the methyl-folate trap. This leads to the associated folic acid scarcity in vitamin B12 deficiency. Genetic polymorphism has been reported in the gene coding for the methyltransferase enzyme, which can alter the requirement of folic acid and cause hyperhomocystinemia. Deficiency manifestation. Number 1. Folate trap. Vitamin B12 deficiency causes simultaneous folate deficiency due to the folate trap. Therefore, all the manifestations of folate deficiency are also seen. Number 2. Megaloblastic anemia. In the peripheral blood, megaloblast and immature RBCs are observed. Number 3. Abnormal homocysteine level. In vitamin B12 deficiency, homocysteine is accumulated, leading to homocystinuria. Homocysteine level in blood is related with myocardial infarction. So, B12 and folic acid are protective against ischemic heart disease. Number 4. Demyelination. Methylation of phosphatidylethanolamine to phosphatidylcholine is not adequate. This leads to deficient formation of myelin sheaths of nerves, demyelination, and neurological lesions. This is a normal neuron, and this is what a demyelinated neuron looks like. This is a smear of megaloblastic anemia. Next is vitamin C or ascorbic acid. Requirement of vitamin C. Recommended daily allowance is 75 mg per day, which is equal to 50 ml orange juice. During pregnancy, lactation, and in aged people, requirement may be 100 mg per day. Smokers and those on oral contraceptives have lower vitamin C levels. Aspirin has been found to block the uptake of vitamin by white blood cells. Hence, these people require 100 mg per day. Dietary sources of vitamin C. The rich sources are amla, guava, lime, lemon, and green leafy vegetables. Functions. Number 1. Reversible oxidation reduction. It can change between ascorbic acid and dehydroascorbic acid. Most of the physiological properties of vitamin could be explained by this redox system. Number 2. Hydroxylation of proline to lysine. Ascorbic acid is necessary for the post-translational hydroxylation of proline and lysine residues. Hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine are essential for the formation of cross-links in the collagen, which gives the tensile strength to the fiber. Tryptophan metabolism. Ascorbic acid is necessary for the hydroxylation of tryptophan to 5-hydroxytryptophan. This is required for the formation of serotonin. Number 4. Tyrosine metabolism. Vitamin C helps in the oxidation of para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate to homogenesic acid. Number 5. Iron metabolism. Ascorbic acid enhances the iron absorption from the intestine. Ascorbic acid reduces ferric iron to ferrous state, which is preferentially absorbed. Number 6. Hemoglobin metabolism. It is useful for reconversion of methemoglobin to hemoglobin. Number 7. Folic acid metabolism. Ascorbic acid is helping the enzyme folate reductase to reduce folic acid to tetrahydrofolic acid. Thus, it helps in maturation of RBC. Number 8 is steroid synthesis. Large quantities of vitamin C are present in adrenal cortex. The ascorbic acid is depleted by ACTH stimulation. So, the vitamin has some role in adrenal steroidogenesis. Vitamin C helps in the synthesis of bile acids from cholesterol. Number 9. Phagocytosis. Ascorbic acid stimulates phagocytic action of leukocytes and helps in the formation of antibodies. Number 10. Antioxidant property. As an antioxidant, it may prevent cancer formation. Daily intake of vitamin C reduces this risk for cancer. Cataract. Vitamin C is concentrated in the lens of eye. Regular intake of ascorbic acid reduces the risk of cataract formation. Deficiency manifestation of vitamin C. Number 1 is scurvy. It is nothing but gross deficiency of vitamin C. Infantile scurvy, also known as Barlow's disease. In infants between 6 to 12 months of age, the diet should be supplemented with vitamin C sources. Otherwise, deficiency of vitamin is seen. Number 3. Hemorrhagic tendency. In ascorbic acid deficiency, collagen is abnormal and the intercellular cement substance is brittle. Number 4. Internal hemorrhage. In severe cases, Hemorrhage may occur in the conjunctiva and retina. Internal bleeding may be seen as epistaxis. Number 5. Oral cavity. In severe cases of scurvy, the gum becomes painful, swollen, and spongy. The pulp is separated from the dentine and finally, teeth are lost. Wound healing may be delayed. Number 6. Bones. In the bones, the deficiency results in the failure of the osteoblast to form the intercellular substance osteoid. Without the normal ground substance, the deposition of bone is arrested. The resulting scorbutic bone is weak and fractures easily. Number 7. Anemia. In vitamin C deficiency, microcytic hyperchromic anemia is seen. The reasons for anemia may be loss of blood by hemorrhage, decreased iron absorption, decreased tetrahydrofolic acid, also accumulation of methemoglobin. Hope you have understood the video. Like, subscribe and press the bell button for more videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching.